Hi guys, it's Tamara coming back at you with another video. Welcome back to my channel. This week, we're going to talk about parenting. And it's not going to just be your typical conversation about parenting. We're going to actually talk about emotionally detached and unhealthy parents. And I think this is a very important topic. We just got done with a month and a half of discussing trauma. And I took the opportunity during that month and a half to break down the subject into bits and pieces and to educate you guys and engage you guys in conversation about the topic of trauma. Now, this next month and a half, we're going to talk about parenting, and we're going to talk about emotionally detached parents and how they disturb their children over the child's lifetime. So we're going to talk about how babies, kids, teens are affected, and how you develop into an adult and it continues to affect you for years to come. I think this is a very important topic. Most of my clients are like, yes, please talk about this. So I'm going to talk about it. So let's go ahead and jump right in. The benefit for you today is that you're going to be able to identify a couple of parental characteristics that may have disturbed you while you were developing and maturing as a child. So let's just go ahead and jump right in. I have my list, as always, to kind of keep me on track. And so the first couple of things I want to mention, there's 7 things that I want to mention to you today. The first one being neglect. An emotionally detached or immature parent is neglectful. They may be neglectful intentionally or unintentionally. It's really hard to figure that out sometimes. It takes a really good therapist, a really keen family member, or a very mature and engaged teacher to pinpoint when a child is being neglected. Now, what's difficult about proving neglect is that sometimes neglect can border child abuse and sometimes it can't. So, or sometimes it doesn't, I should say. So I'll give you an example of what comes very close to child abuse when it's neglect. So let's say, for example, you have a mom who has a mental health condition, and she very rarely tends to her child. She doesn't bathe him, she doesn't console him when he cries, she doesn't make sure that he gets lunch, breakfast, and dinner. He kind of goes for himself, he fixes his own food, he dresses himself, mismatched colors, different shoes, different color shoes on the wrong feet. He goes to school every day with a dirty looking face, goes to school every day in a soiled pair of shorts because he has enuresis, which is incontinence or inability to hold one's urine. He has accidents during his sleep at night with urine or incontinence, excuse me. And he often sleeps in urine soiled sheets and blankets. Is this bordering child abuse? Absolutely, because you've got a child who is not only dealing with health conditions and possibly an emotional problem as well that needs to be looked at, which could be triggering the incontinence, but we're also dealing with neglectful conditions. He's sleeping in urine soiled bedding. So that's one piece of that. The other piece of that is that he's feeding himself, and she's not ensuring as his mother that he's getting fed at least between 3 to 4 hours every day. So yes, that is bordering child abuse, and that is a child protective services call. Hello, there's a child being abused. Now, here's another part of neglect that borders abuse, but it's not quite there. A parent who doesn't console the child when they are emotionally distraught, a parent who doesn't help and assist with homework, a parent who doesn't ensure that the child is bathed every day, the child kind of does it every now and then sporadically, a parent who watches television and drinks alcohol and binge eats all day, every day, and rarely has communication with the child. That is not necessarily abuse. In my eyes, it's abuse, but in the eyes of the law, it's not abuse, because he's being fed, he's being clothed, he's being taken care of, and he's going to school, right? Unfortunately, the parent is disengaged. So when you talk about neglect, it gets pretty complicated. And it takes a lot of in-depth exploration of the situation to be able to say, okay, that is abuse. All right, so that's one parent, a neglectful parent. The next one is a parent that I have termed overtime. And I refer to this kind of parent as someone who immaturely dissociates. And what I mean by that is that they are so engulfed in themselves that they can't be there for the child. They find themselves splitting off from their duty as a parent, right? Dissociation, which is splitting off from reality. They are so in themselves that they can't give a piece of themselves to their child. So what do? They dissociate, they move out of the way, and they begin to live their daily life as if they don't have children, as if they don't have a responsibility. They've dissociated from their child. It's a very heartbreaking reality when you look at it, because the parent clearly doesn't want to be a parent. And so instead of giving the child up for adoption, or instead of giving the child up to someone in the family, or putting the child in foster care, they play the role of mommy and daddy, right? But their immature dissociation causes them to not engage with the child, but split off from reality and behave as if they don't have child responsibilities. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3 is a parent who has disorganized thoughts and feelings. This kind of a parent doesn't have the ability to stay focused. They don't know when events are coming up. They don't know when the child has duties to take care of. They don't know what time the child gets up and goes to bed at night. They don't know what time the child gets a bath during the day. They don't know what time their child eats or should be eating. They don't know what holidays are coming up or school functions. They are completely disorganized. They are dissociated from being a parent. They completely live their life on a whim. There's absolutely there's no organization. There's disorganization and a lot of confusion. All right, the 4th parent is a parent who competes, and I call this competing behavior. And this is a parent who, again, does not want to be a parent. They may dissociate from their duty as a parent or their role, and they may compete with the child. And what I mean by this is a parent who competes for somebody else's attention. So, children gain attentions, right? Most of them are cute, most of them are sweet, most of them are fun and bubbly and bouncy and wonderful, and they just gain attention. But some parents completely struggle with that, and so what they end up doing is competing for that teacher's attention, competing for that father's affection and attention, competing for the grandparents' affection, right? They don't know how to move out of the way and let the child enjoy love and affection from other people. They have to be in it as well, and if they're not, you're going to know about it. Okay, the next one is envy and jealousy. I'm a firm believer that some parents bring children into this world and they are completely jealous and envious of their child. You don't want to believe that, you don't want to think that, but it does happen. All right, and the next one is secondary placement. You become a secondary placement to the parent. They put you on the back burner. You're the secondary person. You're not somebody that means anything to them. You're not a primary priority at all. You're secondary. So thanks so much for being with me today, guys. I encourage you to give this video a thumbs up if it was helpful to you. That way, giving a thumbs up to the video allows it to be pushed up in the search results so that other people like you can gain access to the video. So I thank you in advance for the thumbs up. And if you want to keep up with what I'm posting Mondays and Fridays, go ahead and hit that subscribe button on the side. I think it's on this side. Go ahead and hit that button. That way, you can get videos every time I upload them. So, and I'm sure you'd want to stay tuned for the series on emotionally detached and immature parents. So stay tuned for that. So I will see you guys soon, and I wish you all the best. Bye.